Good evening. It's Saturday, October 8th, 2016. If you've clicked on this link, well, then that means that I matter to you, and that makes me feel all warm and fuzzy inside because it means that you care and you like my podcast. Or you click this by accident, in which case you've probably already hit that back button. But for those of you that stay, trust me, I promise, the podcast is going to be great. It usually always is, but nobody ever stays this long. But you can be the first. This week on the Absolutely Completely Random podcast, I'm going to be talking about the Five Nights at Freddy's sister location game being delayed, then basically not being delayed. I'm getting released on time anyway. What the hell is wrong with you, Scott Cawthorn? I'm going to be talking about Kamen Rider Ex-Aid. Oh boy. I'm going to be talking about the CU Let's Play, brought to you by Pat Contry and Ian Ferguson of the CU Podcast. As man, those two inspire me to do this. I look up to them, I respect them, and man, that Let's Play was funny, and so's their podcast. I'm going to be talking about Sherlock, the Blind Banker manga getting a January release, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Mega Battle side-scrolling game, the Power Ranger teaser trailer brought to you by Saban and Lionsgate that was released earlier today, and the Sword Art online movie getting a worldwide release, and much, much more. But first, a word from our sponsor. Hello, everyone. My name is Andrew from A-Roads 2012 on eBay. Are you looking for trading cards, action figures, collectibles, oddities, things you just want to put up in a room somewhere and use as a center point to talk to your friends and an icebreaker at parties? Well, where'd you get that? Oh, I got that on eBay. Yeah, it's really neat, isn't it? You just see the way it just gives off color, huh? Well, if that's the type of person that you want to be, or the person you are, I don't know. Well, swing by my eBay page. That's lowercase ARHOADS -2012 on eBay. I have a lot of stuff for sale. Both new and used trading cards, used action figures, and some new action figures, too. You never know. I might have some newer stuff put up. I try to rotate my stock all the time to have fresh stuff out and put some of the stale stuff back in storage until it might be fresh again. You never know. So, if you're in the mood or in the market for buying a lot of collectibles, oddities, and just plain weird things, swing by my eBay page. I might have something that you want. You never know. That's lowercase ARHOADS -2012. You can also follow me on Twitter at Otaku Roads. All right. So, let's talk about the elephant in the room for a moment. Let's start it off just right here. Scott Cawthorn. Holy shit, Scott. What are you smoking? Earlier this week, Scott Cawthorn comes out with a weird-ass thing, and it gets announced to the world, Five Nights at Freddy's sister location is being delayed. I mean, this thing is trending all over Facebook. It's every news site, gaming site, forum has it like crazy. People are going off on this. It's being delayed, and they said it was because the game was too sickening and is scary to children. What the hell made him think that this one isn't as creeped out as the first four games? Let me give you a little break. For those of you living under a rock for the last couple of years, Five Nights at Freddy's is a virtual first-person horror game that scares you with jump scares. The entire premise of the first three games is you're the night security guard at basically a Chuck E. Cheese from hell. That's about the best way I can put it. You're basically the security guard at the Chuck E. Cheese from hell. And Scott Cawthorn has made this game into a cult phenomenon. There's Five Nights at Freddy's guides on how to beat this thing. I work. Like I said last podcast, I have a job, a part-time job at a Five Below. We are stocking that crap on the shelves. There are keychains. There are plushies. There are stickers. There's a survival book for the first four games. I shit you not. How this thing is popular, I don't know. How it got to be like this, mostly because of viewers like you. Thank you. But anyway, the game's supposed to be delayed, I should say. But then all of a sudden it comes out and goes, yeah, it's not right. According to a post by Cawthorn On the Five Nights at Freddy's sister location Steam page, the game is being delayed because it's too dark. Some of the elements are so disturbing that they are making him feel sick, and so he's thinking about delaying the game so that they can rework the entirety into something kid-friendly. You want to make this kid-friendly? You didn't care about that for the first 4 games. The first game, you basically have the night security guard, the guy that is teaching you how to play the game, basically get killed on night 4. I've never played these games. I've watched Markiplier play these games. So you have the night security guard get killed on night 4. Night 5, you have a garbled mess of the recording. Then you have the second game, where it's basically you're going to the past, I guess. And you're at Freddy Fazbear's. Anyways, who the hell cares? But you have it so that it's the bite of 87. Or there's a birthday party, the restaurant's closing. Then you have Five Nights at Freddy's 3. The trifecta trilogy here, folks. And it just kept growing from there. Five Nights at Freddy's 3 gives you and gave us viewers out there the wonderful feeling that, oh dear God, we're screwed. Because now they turned Freddy Fazbear's into an amusement park. Happily, it burns down at the end. And I can't really say spoilers for this, because you had to have played the first 4 games. They've been out for a few years now. Let's get over it. Five Nights at Freddy's 4 comes along. It's supposed to be the final chapter. Yay! Finally, this nightmare is coming to an end! Yeah, you basically play as a kid that's having hallucinogenic nightmares from all hell breaking loose, and a side story that basically says, according to Matt Pat from Game Theorist, that he was the Bite of 87 victim. Okay. I'm not going to argue with him on that. He's the one that had to delve into that research. Screw it. I'm not arguing with it. But now you're worried that your games aren't kid-friendly? Yeah. Now, this came out, I'd say around the 4th. I'd say around October 4th, October 5th, give or take. And it came out, oh no, it would have been about the 4th. So the 4th or the 3rd, basically. And it's basically saying that, yeah, because, October 7th's coming up, I don't think the game is going to be released. I think we're going to delay it. It's making me sick to my stomach. It's disturbing. I'm quoting some of the article here. Now I'm going to explain. I'm quoting the first article, and I'm going to explain about the newer article, and I'm going to go into the game because I watched the Let's Play of it. So, the first article was really great. It says, delays happen in the gaming industry all the time, but it's rare for a game to be delayed more than days before its release. Five Nights at Freddy's fans are confused and angry about this latest development, as many were looking forward to playing the game on Friday. Something else upsetting fans is Cawthorn realizing that reasoning that the game is too dark to release. As being dark and disturbing are two characteristics that many consumers look for in a horror game. Yeah, let's not forget, this is the franchise that is spawning its own movie. I think Warner Brothers is still limping to the barn with that. Just, fine, you want to make it dark and disturbing, have Zack Snyder produce that. There you go. Yeah, that's the guy that wants Rape in a Batman movie. Yeah, have him produce that. Hey, Warner Brothers, you guys still doing the Five Nights at Freddy's movie? Hey, that's great. You gonna put Zack Snyder on it? No? You want it to be dark and disturbing, right? Yeah? Okay, well, there you go. Let's put him on it. You guys will go bankrupt then. So, there's all that stuff. Sister Location is basically taking place at, basically it's like a depot of sort. At least as far as any of us could figure out. And from the game, because like I said, I've seen some of the Let's Play today already. Markiplier had some up. So it's really interesting. Yeah. It says, with October 7th just a few days away, fans will learn soon enough whether or not Cawthorn is serious about Sister Location's delay. If the game is delayed, it will be interesting to see if Cawthorn actually does rework it to be more kid-friendly, or if he goes with a slightly altered version of his original vision. Yeah. Now, I'd just like to take this piece of paper right now and throw it out the window, because on Wednesday, I found this lovely thing right on the Steam page, folks. Right on Scott Cawthorn's thing himself, written by him, saying, quote, "The game will not be delayed." And I'm going to quote the entire thing. If you want to look it up, just Google Five Nights at Freddy's sister location delayed. It's like the second result. I guarantee it. It goes, "Hey guys, I wanted to let everyone know what I've decided. And just as a warning, a lot of you aren't going to be happy about it. But please try to understand. Ever since I started making games, I always wanted to be a world builder. I never wanted to make gimmicky games or things that didn't mean something. I wanted to create experiences that would really have an impact on people. I feel like I got to do that with the first few games, but somehow I feel like I let myself get too dark with this new one. Things went sideways, and I look at this game now, and I'm unsure how it will affect people." I'm going to pause here for a second and go, you're only thinking about this now? I would have been thinking about that before. Continuing on, at the same time, though, people, WANT in capital letters, a horror game, and I get that. I understand that. This is supposed to be horror and not kid-friendly. So then what am I supposed to do? Release something that offends me just to satisfy those who want to play it? Or take the time and effort to really craft something that everyone can enjoy? The answer is obvious to me. Yeah, it's kind of obvious to everybody else at this point, but yeah, let's just keep going here. I'm going to pause there again. Let's just keep going. So we continue on. The problem is that the franchise has grown too much. There is too much of a spotlight on this for me to really do what I want to do. Even the news sites jumped all over this and mocked me for delaying the game. It just makes things difficult because I don't feel like I can really do the right thing anymore. But I think I have the solution. This is the part most of you won't like. I'm going to release the mature version of the game by itself. In sections. Not as a part of the timeline, not as a part of the lore, and not as a part of the story. But just because I promised that I would. I promised the game and don't want to be one of those developers who endlessly delays their game's release. However, I would recommend that real fans of the games and real followers of the lore wait a few months until I'm able to really make something that everyone can enjoy. I'm going to release the game in chapters, however not the whole game at once, since it puts strain on the servers over at GameJolt. Sister location MA Night 1 download link was included in this, and then there's an edit. And this is the part that I get a kick out of, okay? As most of you have figured out, the game's not delayed. See you Friday, with a sideways winking emoji. So, what I want to know is, Scott, what the hell are you thinking? If you're trying to be your own PR man, first off, that's a horrible way to be a PR person. You're basically shoving your own foot up your ass. How are you able to contort your leg to do that? Hey, that's a miracle. That's amazing, first off. But you've basically shoved your own foot up your ass on this. You're basically saying, yeah, I want to put this up, but at the same time, I don't want to put this up. Your games have been sick and disturbing from day one. You have animatronics that shove people into animatronic suits. And it wouldn't be so bad. Like the guy explains in the first game, it wouldn't be so bad if not for the cross beams and the wires and the fact that if they catch you, you're pretty much dead. So, yeah, okay, yeah, not that bad. Okay. But seriously, it's just one of those why are you even bothering sort of deals here. So, needless to say, wasn't delayed. Surprise, surprise, boys and girls. Markiplier was playing it. I know that him and Matt Pat were playing it on a GT Live, unless Matt was just watching it. I don't know. He's kind of disturbed that way, I guess. But basically, the game was released, and I actually have to admit this, it is kind of dark. It is darker than the first four, I will admit that. It's about on par with the fourth one, I want to say, to a point, but it is a bit dark. It's really creepy because you kind of have to jolt the animatronics, and I only watched up to part 3, so I don't know how everything works. If you haven't played it yet, I'm going to try my best not to ruin it for you, and I'm really going to try my best not to do spoilers, but heads up, just in case, possible spoilers. You know, spoiler alert, something like that, okay? Basically, you have to jolt the animatronics, which kind of makes me think that they're more alive than robot, which definitely scares me a little bit. But night 3 or something, apparently you have to keep a whole bunch of puppets off of you. That's where Markiplier was getting screwed up on part 3. He wasn't able to do that well. But then night 5, the final night you're there. Yeah, like that's ever happened. 5 nights at Freddy's, you're there for a whole freaking week at this point, and you get paid peanuts. Here's the fun part. You're going down, I guess it's like an elevator shaft sort of thing, which, by the way, is creepy because it almost makes me feel like those fans are going to come off and just chop you to pieces. You get there, you got to crawl through a vent to get into your workstation. And that, first off, scares me because you're basically crawling through vents in order to get to different parts. I'm a big person, and vents make me claustrophobic. I cannot imagine anybody squeezing themselves into a vent. It scares the crap out of me. I see a small, narrow spot, I actually start to get a little tense. I try to avoid them with a passion. So, watching that, first off, really was taxing my psyche. But then again, since I'm really not a fan of the jump scares, I kind of just zoom along and find the parts where I want to watch and go from there. So, Markiplier's playing this, getting his ass whooped. And night 5 comes. And he gets a lovely little shock. As he's going down, the computerized voice is telling him, oh, by the way, there are still 2 maintenance workers working down here. Try to stay out of their way. But while you're at it, find out why they're still here and try to encourage them to leave. So Markiplier gets into the main room where you've been at the first 4 nights of this game, hits the lights to check the 2 stages, and here's where the spoiler alert's going to come. Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert. So spoiler alert. You have 2 silhouettes of 2 hanging people, one on each side. The maintenance workers either hung themselves or got hung. Either way, they're dead. So, and I kind of like how Markiplier makes this comment. He goes, well, I guess the first question I'd like to ask him, if I get 20 questions, the first one I'm going to ask is, are they still alive? Oh, yeah, got a quick answer to that question. And at first, I noticed it at first. So I'm like, wait a minute, there was a silhouette there. And I kind of saw the silhouette of like a 7 almost. Like a, upside down L. And I'm like, oh, shit. That means somebody just died. And I'm kind of back the video up a little bit, and I'm like, oh, yeah, they're hung. Oh, yeah, this ain't good. Okay, we now have sentient beings. Yep, the animatronics are alive, boys and girls. We're all boned. Time to get out of here. We've now built Skynet. We're all screwed. Time to call it a day and run. That's what I was thinking. But so far, so good. I'm looking forward to the next part. I guess it'll probably be up sometime tomorrow. I guess I can watch it. But for those of you out there, it's a great game. But Scott, seriously, if you want to hire a PR person, hire a PR person. Don't pull shit like this and try to expect people to actually come right out and go, oh, yeah, I'm going to back the Scott Cawthorn train. They're not going to do it. Because all you basically did was give them the middle finger and say, yeah, here's where I'm telling you to go, and this is what I'm telling you to do. Because, you're going to release this thing anyway. You have never stuck to a deadline in your life. You said the one game was going to be released in October. It was released 6 months early. Scaring the crap out of the Let's Players because they had to juggle on their schedules. They had to juggle stuff just to play your game because, well, I'm going to get requests out the ass for this. And a lot of them did. So, yeah, Scott, next time, just come right out and say, yeah, the game's getting released. Don't try this crap again, okay? From one person to another, just don't. All right, so getting off of 5 Nights at Freddy's, let's go across the sea to the wonderful land of the rising sun, my favorite country, Japan, where Kamen Rider Ex-Aid started last week. And, oh God, I don't even know where to start. Normally I try to give stuff a couple episodes, and I am on this one. I'm going to give it see what episode 2 has to offer. But episode 1 really wasn't helping at all. The entire premise of this is that a young kid grows up to be a doctor after being saved by a doctor, and he's an avid video gamer. Some computer virus is taking over the world. It's infecting people. They have a chance of being completely taken over and becoming part of the video game, and so on and so forth. So the Kamen Rider in this one is the doctor who was the kid who likes video games, who grew up to become the doctor and is now a Kamen Rider. I could get behind that. Secret base under the hospital? Yeah, okay, sure, I can get behind that too. There's always a secret base hidden somewhere. What I can't get behind, first off, is the AI sort of, oh, well, the human body is just my day outfit. I'm an AI computer program inside a virtual video game. Can't get behind that. Fact to be, was sort of fixing up the last nail in its coffin. I'm not ready to seal it shut yet. Let's see what episode 2 has to offer. But the problem with episode 1, they tried to put too much humor in where it wasn't really needed, in my opinion. He had a part where he's pretty much falling on his face in Kamen Rider mode. He's getting into stupid situations, tripping over stuff. You're having this Batman, like from the 1960s Batman, or 70s, whenever the Adam West Batmans came out, that kind of comic book, lines jumping out, but in Japanese. And it's just kind of like, why? Doesn't make any sense to me. Seems kind of silly, and it's not silly in a good way. It's silly in a, we kind of just phoned this one in at the last minute. We don't know what we're doing. I'm hoping that the premise gets better and better as it goes, but let's face it. I mean, it's a Kamen Rider show. It's got one of two ways to go, either up or down, or it'll just level off and just be one of those, I'm just going to wait till next October and see what they're going to come out with then. So it's mostly just one of those. Yeah, like I said, I'm going to give it another episode. I usually give something a couple episodes. I gave Future Card Buddy Fight 2 episodes. I got hooked onto that. Second season came along, got hooked onto that. Third season came along after episode 3. I said I'm done with it. They changed too much of the story around. I couldn't follow it anymore. I said it's not worth it anymore, and I ditched it to the wayside. I don't watch it anymore. It sucked. I was all right with it switching over from dubbed to subbed. I could live with that, but dealing with it basically having the entirety of the show rewritten, that you got rid of Drum, you have Bomb, forget it. That's where I lost it. I couldn't take it anymore, and I said, that's it. Screw it. I'm done. So, Kamen Rider Ex-Aid, I'm giving it another week. And that's about it. So, I don't know. If it sucks this coming week, I think I'm just going to skip it for this year and come back in October next year and see what they're limping to the barn with. It might be better, it might be worse. I don't know. Okay. First off, I apologize for yawning. I had to get up early this morning for work, so I have a nice 44-ounce Fountain Dr. Pepper from a new convenience store that I went to tonight. Really nice place. Called the Fleetwood Food Mart. Really cool. Really nice. I like it. People are really nice. And it's a really, really nice place. That's all I can basically say about it. I went there. Pretty cool. It was a bit of a drive, but it's worth it. Well, for me anyway, it's worth it. So, anyway. Let's go on to the CU Let's Play. For those of you unfamiliar, Pat Contry and Ian Ferguson of the CU podcast, and yes, I'm calling you guys out. Seriously, I've done it like 6 times with the 6 episodes of my podcast. I pretty much called you guys out and said something about you guys. Almost every episode. For the last few months, they've been batting back and forth of, well, we're going to do a Let's Play. We're not going to do a Let's Play. Yeah, we're going to do a Let's Play. And we're not going to do a Let's Play. Yeah, we're going to do a Let's Play. No, we're not going to do no, we're not going to do a Let's Play. Well, yeah, they're doing a Let's Play. Called the CU Let's Play. First off, I want to say this the first game that they did the Let's Play on was Cobble. I had to admit that was fun. I don't think it was a game that I could probably do. Ian got destroyed. Pat made it all the way to the end and got owned by the last boss, so that kind of sucks. Um, yeah, so there was that. But the opening sort of reminds me of Barney. And I kind of mean that. It reminds me of Barney because it goes, "Hey everybody, it's time for a completely unnecessary Let's Play." And I'm just thinking, oh, cool. So there's a big purple dinosaur coming now. Because the way it sounds, I'm thinking Barney. I'm hearing Barney, but I'm not seeing Barney. It's just funny. Yeah, the first game they did was Cobble. That was really great, really well done. I think Ian and Pat's combination with that was really well. The second game that they started on came out today. It's Chippendale Rescue Rangers. And I loved that show. Well, let me rephrase it. I loved the opening. I could stand the show. And they got demolished. It was game over for them because they ended up losing all their continues. They suck at the game. Well, I don't think they used up all their continues. I think they may have had like one left at the end of the episode, so I don't think they're going to actually beat the game on one playthrough. It's impossible. It's never going to happen because Ian's good at it, but Pat sucks at it. And Ian kept hitting Pat kept hitting Ian, and yeah, it was fun. So, so part 1 came out. I guess part 2 will come out in a couple days. I'm looking forward to that. And don't forget, and I'm going to give you guys some free publicity here, don't forget to check out the CU podcast, the ones that inspired me to do my own podcast, and probably many other podcasters too. You can check out their stuff on Podbean and at thepunkeffect.com. So that's really cool. So you guys are getting some free publicity from me. Hope you like it. Return the favor sometime. I don't know. Be nice. Okay. Now let's go from the U.S. and from Japan. Now let's go over to Britain. Well, let's talk about someone from Britain, I should say. Sherlock. Yes, I'm talking about Sherlock Holmes, played by everybody's favorite actor, Benedict Cumberbatch. So, yes, all you Cumberbatch bitches can cream your jeans for a second. I'm talking about him. And I know that there's a lot. That's exactly what my friend calls him. And I've heard it multiple times. There's a Sherlock manga, apparently, that's came out. The second one's getting a January release. The first one was called A Study in Pink. I haven't seen it, haven't read it. In fact, I only heard about this one today, so I don't really know much about them. I'm just going off of what I know, and it's kind of creepy. They're basing it on BBC's Sherlock, which is basically the newer version of Sherlock Holmes. You have Benedict Cumberbatch that plays Sherlock Holmes. I don't know who plays Watson. The last one I watched was a long time ago on Masterpiece Mysteries, hosted by the creepy guy who played the villain in multiple movies. I think I remember he did like Loki in that crappy Son of the Mask movie. But either way, they're coming out with a manga. The newer one's called The Blind Banker. Okay, first off, I want to say that the titles sound pretty cool. They sound just like stories that would come out of Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, come out of his mind. I appreciate that. What I don't like is that the character that they are drawing in the picture of the supposed cover literally looks like Cumberbatch. And it's creepy. And I mean creepy. It just looks like a cartoon version of him. And I know it's manga. I know the otakus out there are going to rip me a new asshole for that. But I'm serious. It just basically looks like a drawn version of him. So, what it basically is, well, I don't really have much about it. They didn't really have much on it in the article that I read about it. But just knowing that they're coming out with a Sherlock manga, first off, I think that's amazing because I like Sherlock Holmes. I have a book I got up at Barnes & Noble a few years ago for for $20, and I can say that because I have worded this multiple times. That was the best $20 I ever spent. That kept me entertained for months. I would read that book. It has every single Sherlock Holmes story written by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. You have Study in Scarlet, The Orange Pips, The Hounds of the Baskervilles. Every single one of them is in that book. It's a big sucker. I'll give you that. But seeing it in manga form is really cool. I know a few years ago, because I have a friend that's he's one of those. He's a religious person. He goes to church and all that. I remember the one year I was walking around Walmart and I found this manga of Jesus. And it was basically, I'm looking at it, I'm like, okay, I know this follows the Bible. I remember that from Sunday school. I went to Sunday school years ago. I went to church years ago. I stopped going. It's just one of those things. No offense to anybody out there. I really don't mean to offend. But I'm not that religious. I'm not. No way. I'm not that religious. But my friend liked it. I thought, hey, this will be something great. As it melds, and he even worded it too. He goes, it melds the two things that we each know. He knows religion, and I like manga. He goes, so it's kind of, he can kind of see what he's read in a format that I enjoy. So I've never been able to find another one of those since either. I should have grabbed the second one. I had enough. I should have grabbed them both. I have never been able to find another one of those anywhere. I can't even find them on eBay. But it's really cool nonetheless that he had that. That he has it now. So it's just really cool. So they're doing a manga version then of Sherlock Holmes, which is really neat. But it would have been better, at least in my opinion, if they wouldn't have used the BBC's Sherlock. If they would have done, the actual Sherlock Holmes that you've had like in other cartoons and stuff like that, and try to basically mangafy him. That would be a series that I would even be open to get. Hell, you could even make it an omnibus, and I would buy it. That's how neat that would be. I would adore that. Instead of having to use my imagination and actually try to picture what the places look like, you could it's drawn out so I can go, okay, I kind of figured it out. All right, I think I might have it. Instead of trying to figure it out using your brain, which I know Sherlock would say you'd have to do that. But still, I mean, you got to give us a little bit of credit. He can see what he's talking about. If you live in the U.S., you have to understand the differences between England and the U.S., to begin to understand it. And there are some differences. Nobody can argue that there isn't. You can't argue that. But you have to basically understand those and a lot of other things to pretty much get the gist of it. So, yeah, it's cool. I'm liking it. I like the concept. I'm going to have to try to find the first one. But, yeah, I'm liking the concept of it. Though, like I said, would have been better if they would have did, like, some of the older stories or the entire thing from the original works, and then did the newer ones. See how it would have got the waters first. See how, test the waters. But then again, this is probably just a way to, and I'm going to say it again, this is probably just a way to ease the Cumberbatch bitches until Doctor Strange comes out. Because we all know he's playing Doctor Strange. So this is probably just a way to make them happy. Oh, here, you like Cumberbatch? Oh, okay, yeah, you're one of those groupies? Okay, here, we got Cumberbatch as Sherlock manga. Oh, I want it! Oh, yeah, Doctor Strange's coming out. Oh, yeah, I already got my ticket. That's probably what it is. I had no problem with that. Whatever makes them happy in life. So, yeah, check it out. Comes out in January. Study in Pink's already out. All right. Now let's get on to Power Rangers. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Mega Battle game, Mega Battle, the side-scrolling game. They're claiming this to be the Power Rangers game you always wanted as a child. They don't know the Power Rangers game I always wanted as a child. The Power Rangers game I always wanted as a child? Basically, it'd be like The Sims and Power Rangers. That's the kind of Power Rangers game I wanted as a child. You kind of have a third-person view, like a third-person sort of action-adventure game. That's the kind of Power Rangers game I wanted as a child. That Power Rangers Dino Thunder game that came out for the GameCube sucked. That Power Rangers, I think it was like a legacy one with the Omega Ranger taking on Lord Zed inside a time vault. That sucked. Almost every Power Rangers game has sucked. Even back to the old Super Nintendo ones. Power Rangers the movie. That one really, come on. That was back when I was still watching The Completionist yet. Even that one kind of sucked. It's just one of those weird titles you can't get right. Now, in this one, they have it so that you're taking on Rita Repulsa, and apparently Lord Zed's going to be in it too, because I saw he was teased in it. And it looks entertaining. They got the voices of the original Power Rangers, which first off impresses me because the original Yellow Rangers passed away. May she rest in peace. Now, for those of you unfamiliar with that, Google it. I'm just going to quote Doctor Who here. Google it. Yeah, she passed away back in 2001. So, yeah. But it's amazing that they have the voices of the characters, at least for some of their moves and stuff. You can summon the Megazord, you can fight the bad guys. But it's side-scrolling. That's what I can't get behind. A lot of side-scrolling games are coming out. Those things are starting to become more and more popular. Now, I have no problem with side-scrolling games, but it's just that if you're having a game like this, there is so much more you could do with it. You could make the Megazord battles, for starters. You could have made that first-person view. Like, you're literally piloting the Megazord. You have control on your right side on your phone or something, and a control on the left side. And I think it's for phones. It could be for phones. It could be for a lot of stuff. I think I might have it for computers. I know something about PS4 I saw somewhere. So either way, there's just like a lot of stuff you could do with it. You could control the Megazord. First-person view controlling the Megazord. You could control the Rangers in a third-person view. Really make it great. But it's side-scrolling. All right, fine. More side-scrolling games. Like, we don't have enough of those already. Nintendo's dominating the market with Mario. How many Mario games do we have that are side-scrolling? Super Mario Run that's going to be coming out for the iPhone. It's going to be side-scrolling. There are so many side-scrolling games. I'm starting to lose track of them in my life here. But I just get a kick out of this. How they're going, it's the Power Rangers game you always wished for as a kid. That's almost as bad as Mighty Number 9's line of make your enemies cry like an anime fan on prom night. You're basically ostracizing an entire group of people. Even though they're not officially doing it. I mean, now the Power Rangers promotional thing here, the trailer, didn't actually come out and basically tell you, yeah, don't play this if this isn't the game you were expecting as a child. They're trying to draw you into it. But saying that it's the game you always wanted as a child, to me, sounds like, yeah, we know we're kind of limping to the barn on this. We don't care. We're taking advantage. Power Rangers are popular. Yeah, so long as they don't get messed up, it's popular. You mess it up, it ain't popular no more. But nonetheless, and I do mean nonetheless, it's one of those, I'm kind of looking forward to it. Maybe it'll get, the attention it deserves. Maybe it'll be as good as they're saying. I don't know. It does look pretty cool from what I saw in the trailer. So you never really know. Could be really neat, could suck. I don't know. So, it's just one of those things that you have to go one step at a time and one day at a time with. So, yep. So I didn't really see when it said it was coming out. All I know is that it's called Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Mega Battle Game, and all I know is that it's side-scrolling. So that's about all I could gather off the information that I could see off the trailer, off any information I could get. It's pretty much everything was just repeating. So, yep, that's about all I have on that. So, yeah, if you get a chance to look it up, there's only so much research I can do in a week, guys. Everyone. So, come on, there's only so much research I can do in a week. I'm a one-man army here that does this. So, yeah, if I miss something or I have a little screw-up, let it go. But, yeah, you can check it out. Trailer, I know the trailer's out. You can probably find it on YouTube. So, yeah, check it out if you get a chance. It might be cool, might not. Who knows? All right, speaking of something Power Rangers related that is going to suck, and this I was looking forward to all night long, baby. All night long. I've been looking forward to this. Earlier today, the Power Rangers teaser trailer for the movie coming out March of next year was released. And oh my God, does it blow! I can't even begin to tell you how bad this trailer sucked. First off, it definitely proved, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that physics is wrong. That there are things in this world that can both suck and blow at the same time. And this trailer proved it in spades. I mean that. Let me set up the trailer for you. It basically starts off, I'm guessing it's Jason, as I'm assuming it's Jason, because I think they were bitching nothing about Jason. The teaser trailer was basically Jason heavy. Wrecked car, I guess dad's complaining to the cops, and then you see everybody coming to school on a Saturday. Now, the trailer basically reminded me of, and this is, I've tried to find a nice way to word this all night, too, by the way. It is basically the Breakfast Club Screws Chronicle, and its offspring is trying to be I Am Number 4. That is all it basically is. You have all the kids, you have the 5 kids showing up at school for Saturday detention, basically. And that leads them to becoming friends and going to investigate, at least I think it was all 5 of them anyway, going to investigate, in the end, going to investigate this weird little canyon where Billy, I believe it was, I don't know, I heard somebody yell at Billy, blows up a small little piece of rock and out pops the supposed power coin. Now, I want to bitch here for a moment, if I may. Now, I know all about the trailer. I know about this movie. I've been following this thing religiously. Jason David Frank is praising the hell out of this thing. I think this is going to blow now. First off, you have something that's pretty much mimicking Chronicle, and I hated Chronicle. I could not get behind it. I watched it on TV. I hated it with a passion. I hate The Breakfast Club. That movie sucked and blew. It's one of those, I know it's an immortal John Hughes movie. I know it's one of those that, well, it's from the 80s. You have to love it. No. I hate it. I hate it with a passion. None of those kids would be friends after that Saturday in detention. I guarantee you, come Monday morning, they are right back to their same cliques that they were in the first place. None of them are going to remember that. They are not going to be friends. The jock is not going to be dating the damaged chick. The princess is not going to be dating the criminal. And the brain is not going to be going back to school thinking, yeah, I'm the hot shit on campus. No. None of that crap's happening. None of that's happening. But this Power Ranger trailer sucked. Big time. Big time. And I'm looking at this afternoon, and I'm like, this is the trailer. First off, okay, you basically have the 5 kids, the 5 teenagers. Now, I know in the original series, Zordon told Alpha, find 5 teenagers with attitude. Well, yeah, this time, they got 5 teenagers. Angsty teenagers. That's basically what they got. It's just ripping. I watch this and I can't do this thing justice, ripping it apart, but I'm having a ball doing it at this rate. The trailer, like I said, it's trying too hard. It's The Breakfast Club meets Chronicle so far. Oh, and then here's the kicker. Now, Bryan Cranston was cast as Zordon. I know they had somebody else cast in as Alpha 5. You did not see either of them in this trailer. Not a single one. We got the 5 kids, Jason, Trini, Kimberly, Billy, and Zach. And we see Rita Repulsa. Yep, that's right. The cosmic witch herself shows up, floats over Kimberly's bed. I assume it was Kimberly. I'm not 100% sure because I couldn't stand watching the trailer too much. I was starting to lose it. Hovers above Kimberly on her bed, grabs her by her jaw and goes, I've killed Rangers before. So that means there were more of us. That's the first thing I would be thinking if those lines were said in front of me. There were more of us? What are these, like the Green Lantern rings that they just circle the cosmos, finding those who are worthy? And then you basically have the One Rangers transforming. They find this orb of light, which I'm assuming might be Zordon, so he may have showed up. I don't know. But you have this orb of light. They're gathered around it in a circle. They're not singing Kumbaya either. No, they're around the circle. And they are basically gathered around like they were in the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers movie. They were in their circle to give Zordon their power to revive him. Nope, this time they're gaining the power to transform into these alien suits. Don't forget, these powers are alien in nature now. The fans and the comments because I saw this on Facebook and I saw the trailer on YouTube, and I know it's up. It's got to be up on Twitter by now. The fans are basically going, well, if the fans of the original series were hoping this was going to hold true to that, they just need to stick their tail between their legs and just go crying home, because this is this is the type of movie that I have been waiting for. Okay, if you wanted the Breakfast Club meets Chronicle and is acting like I am number 4, just go buy those 3 movies and watch them in certain sections. Start with the Breakfast Club, then go into Chronicle, then go back to the Breakfast Club, go back into Chronicle a little bit, then go back to the Breakfast Club, then then jump into I am number 4 a little bit, then pretty much wrap all 3 of them up at once on 3 different players or 3 different TVs. Because that's basically what this movie's gonna be. If this is the trailer, that's basically the whole movie. Is those 3 right there. Just watch them. There you got the movie. Just replacing Chronicle, just had 2 more people getting the powers. And you have it. That's it. Have the Breakfast Club people gain the powers in Chronicle and act like I am number 4. That's all you need at this point. The trailer, I can't even complain about it. It sucks that bad. Like I said, you don't see Zordon, you don't see Alpha. I was expecting this to be a little bit better. My version of what this was going to be, and the movie isn't even out yet, so I am really hoping that this is going to change. That this was just the early production, and they're going to look and see how many likes and shit they get on YouTube and everything else, see what the comments are, and then go, yeah, we got to make some serious changes. Because the fans aren't liking this, and we are pissing them off left and right. I was kind of thinking, okay, Zordon and Alpha are escaping Rita. You know, they're flying across the galaxy in like a ship sort of thing. And Rita sort of is like attacking them. They crash land on Earth, and Zordon just sends the power out to 5 teenagers. Or somehow has them all drawn into one spot, sort of like, you know, a calling. That whoever can sense this, can hear my voice, come follow my voice. And 5 teenagers just show up. And Zordon grants them the powers to protect them from Rita, who is coming, to protect their world. And it sort of puts himself into like a tube to preserve his life, or what's left of it. And then Alpha's basically what Alpha is, nothing but the little butler. That's all Alpha was in the show, so little butler. That's all he was. Why can't that be what this trailer is? No, this trailer is the Breakfast Club meets Chronicle and is trying to act like I am number 4. I can't stress that enough. Watch the trailer. It sucks. I swear I am not making this up. It sucks. It blows. It reeks. Jason David Frank, if you've watched this trailer, I dare you. I dare you. And I follow you. You are my favorite Power Ranger. If you say this is still good, I'll give it a shot. But if you come right out and say that this is garbage, I will believe you. I'm taking your word for it. Because you are the one I'm following on this. I dare you, though, to watch this trailer, then watch those 3 movies that I named, and tell me that trailer is basically not writing a check that those 3 movies have already cashed and delivered multiple times in history. Those 3 movies have been out for years. The Breakfast Club came out in the 80s. Chronicle came out in the 2000s, and I Am Number 4 came out in the 2000s. So you cannot tell me that they did not just basically steal the idea of this movie from those 3 movies and just wrap it all up in a bow and make it Power Rangers themed. I dare you. But like I said, if you see the trailer and you say it's good, and you say, yeah, I still have faith in this, fine. Come March, I may invest the $10 to go see it. If you say it sucks, I'm not even going to bother. I'm going to put my faith in you on this one. Because right now, I'm thinking of just saving my $10 and staying home. Because that trailer blew chunks. I can't stress it enough. It sucks. You want angsty teenagers, fine. You don't get angsty teenagers and then stick them in an entire enclosure with a whole bunch of possibilities and problems and everything else that could just come along and go, yeah, we're just gonna... No, that is not a movie. If you're trying to make a clone of The Breakfast Club, just make a clone of The Breakfast Club. If you're trying to clone Chronicle, just clone it. Same thing with item number 4. If you're trying to clone it, just clone it. Don't screw the pooch on it. I mean, seriously. The trailer sucked. How you guys are calling that a movie? If that's a teaser trailer, I hate to see the official trailer. That's going to scare the ever-loving crap out of me. And I mean that. That is going to scare the ever-loving crap out of me. Oh, God. Speaking of movies, and this is one that I am looking forward to. Let's get off the trailer that sucked, and let's get on to a trailer that I am looking forward to for a movie that I am looking forward to. Sword Art Online, the movie. I know it has an actual title, but it escapes me at the moment. I didn't have a chance to write it down, as I'm not connected to the net right now, so I can do that because I only have 3 USB ports, and all 3 of them are being used right now. So basically, Sword Art Online movie is getting a worldwide release February 18th of next year. I'm looking forward to this. So we're basically a few months away from this. I'm looking forward to it. I think this is going to be a great movie. I like Sword Art Online. I don't see how people can hate it. But then again, I hate Fruits Basket. I don't see how people can like it. I hate it with a passion. I love Sword Art Online. It's basically dot hack for a newer generation. Dot Hack Sign was a good anime series. It definitely brought the genre of video game-based animes, video game-based anime series to the world. Dot Hack Roots, it's one of those I can take it or leave it. Dot Hack Legend of the Twilight, that was a good one. So yeah, it's definitely something that's entertaining while at the same time ingenious. So Sword Art Online comes along when it was a series. I got hooked on it. I asked my one friend about it, and he goes, oh yeah, that's not a bad show. I watched it. I love episode 9. Like I discussed back with my second episode when I said about how much it costs to make just an episode of an anime series, about $200,000. I said, okay, you find that. I'd love to own the rights to episode 9 of Sword Art Online. That is my favorite episode, the Gleam Eyes. That's the one when Kirito goes balls to the walls, shows off his dual-wielding skill, and just wrecks the Gleam Eyes. Almost dies, too. He basically had about a sliver of health left to him. So that was cutting it close. But yep, the SAO movie is getting a worldwide release on February 18th of 2017. I personally am looking forward to it. The trailer looks like it's going to kick so much ass. In fact, I'm hoping it's going to be subbed, because I like the Japanese version a lot more than I like the American version. We in America did not do a good job doing the English dub for this. The voices just don't seem to fit the character, in my opinion, and we screwed up royally. So if you want to watch the series, I recommend watching it subbed. Otherwise, yeah, it's a great series, and it's really good, and I am looking forward to this movie, because I just am. It's really that great of a movie. I'm looking forward to it. So, yeah. Can't wait till next year. All right. Anybody remember the CSGO Lounge skin debacle that really pissed off Pat Contry on the CU podcast the one time? Well, believe it or not, an article came out recently that basically said about something interesting about that. The article explained that the CSGO Lounge dealt with, ready for this, over $1 billion worth of skins in 7 months. That's right. The CSGO Lounge traded $1 billion in skins. First of all, the sheer size of this, it just keeps coming to light. This is something that it pissed me off because you had underage gambling with this, because you could have 13-year-olds that were gambling. There's an entire PDF that was with the article. I'm not going to go into the PDF because it didn't make any sense to me. It's basically figures and stuff you need to be a CPA to understand. Even I can't follow it. It started confusing me. But here's the article. The sheer size and scale of the CSGO Lounge operations has come to light. In a new document that has been released, a document has been released by Naruscope, claiming that prior to the Valve ban that forced CSGO Lounge to stop using skins as currency, they dealt with over $1 billion worth of skins in 7 months. The peak of the activity was during Valve's ESL Cologne, I think I have that right, Valve Major, with approximately 1.7 million worth of skins placed on each match. And quote here, in the first 7 months of 2016, the final time period in which Lounge operated skin betting at full capacity, the site took approximately 103 million skins in handle. An analysis involving the listed prices of hundreds of thousands of these skins determined that the average real-world value of an item bet on Lounge was approximately $9.75 American. That's a lot of money. Based on these figures, Lounge took in the USD equivalent of $1 billion in betting handle during the first 7 months of 2016, over a period that involved roughly 2,800 professional CSGO matches, spanning dozens of events and hundreds of exhibitions. The report continued to analyze the ownership and operation of a number of high-profile skin betting websites and the outcomes each faced. This included the Pro Syndicate and Tamari TN operation that was the catalyst in Valve becoming involved. You basically had underage gambling because 13-year-olds could get these skins. You had underage gambling, massive betting, Valve was pissed, and it just keeps getting worse and worse by the second. The worse it gets, the more stuff comes to light, the worse it gets. It's like one of these, I think Valve's finally realized, you know what? We swept this under the rug. We should never have swept this under the rug. We should have taken this to the cleaners from the start. We should have never, ever let this get to where it got to. We are the ones responsible for this. This is our screw up. Like I said, the CSGO Lounge thing, I know it was talked on about with Pat Contry and Ian Ferguson. They went off on it because the person started flipping out about it, putting up videos and comments about it left and right. So, yeah. But basically, it just keeps getting worse and worse. You can find the article. I know it's still up. Just type, like I said, just Google search a lot of stuff. You can find it. I'll try to have a link in the description of my YouTube video. If I remember, I remember. If I don't, please don't harangue me in the comments. It is just a massive, massive thing. And it just scares the crap out of me. It basically says that, yeah, we as human beings screwed up. We as human beings suck. And that's all there is to it. All right. Well, something interesting came to me on YouTube this week. A new show on Disney XD, which the entirety of the first episode was put up online. Now, I've been hearing about this show for a while, and I finally got a chance to watch it. And I have to admit, it's great. It's from the creators of Phineas and Ferb, and it's called Milo Murphy's Law. And it stars, get ready for this, Weird Al Yankovic as the voice of Milo Murphy. He even does the opening, which is really cool. The entire premise of the show is Milo is completely unlucky. Anything bad that could happen to him does. He's got a backpack, which he pretty much has anything and everything he could possibly need to get through any situation that arises. The first episode, he meets the new kid at school, ends up getting chased down the street by a concrete sewer pipe. Let's see. Chased by wolves in a forest. Chased by a wolf with a beehive on its head. Going through the sewers. Going on a river. Going on like a river or a creek in the back of a dump truck. Or in the literal back part of a dump truck that came off a dump truck. And abducted by aliens. All to make it to school in time by 9 a.m. Which, first off, that was impressive. I was mostly just watching it to see if their friend would win her bets. She was taking bets to see if they would make it to school on time. And, she won big time. So that was really cool. Second episode dealt with a trip to I think it was the museum. And it was really cool. Definitely interesting. I can definitely say that. Basically dealt with a whole bunch of people that were living underground. They were trapped down there for a month, decided to make their own society, and then they ended up getting out. And that was basically about it. But it was still neat, still entertaining, and it's definitely a series that I would watch. Mostly for the fact that I kind of think they have a really neat premise with this. It's definitely not your average show. Phineas and Ferb wasn't your average show either. That was a show that definitely made you think outside the box. Like, how could these kids make this entire thing in one day only for it to mysteriously disappear before Mom gets home? So, yeah, it's a decent show. I like it. I recommend it. Don't know what day it's on, though, so I don't have cable anymore. I don't know what day it's on Disney XD, but I know you can probably find out. You can check it out on YouTube. I know the Disney XD channel had it up. So, yeah, check it out. It's really interesting, especially the opening. That was really well done. And kudos to you, Mr. Yankovic. You know, your number one fan still. Well, I'm probably not your number one fan. There's probably other people that like your stuff more than I do. But I adore your stuff. So, hey, keep bringing it. I like it. It's neat. All right. Well, I can see by the clock I've been on for an hour. And so it's time for me to wrap this up. So, for the ACR podcast, my name is Andrew Rhodes. If you'd like to sponsor this podcast, you can shoot me an email at acrpodcast@gmail.com. If you have any topics you'd like me to discuss on the podcast, you can also send them there. Just use the subject line topics for topics or sponsor for sponsor. Or if you just want to say hi, just, send me some feedback through the Gmail account. I adore that. I look forward to that. You can catch this podcast on YouTube. Web Designer 18's YouTube channel. Look under the playlist for ACR Podcast. I am still looking into doing some neater stuff with this in the future. Not because the YouTube's changing. I'm really, like I said last time, getting sick and tired of hearing about it. But more for the fact that I'm still experimenting with this podcast, so I kind of want to see what I can and can't do, or see what will and won't work, mostly. It's mostly the latter, what will and won't work. So, yeah, if you want to sponsor the podcast, if you'd like to sponsor the podcast, I'm not getting many views yet, but I'm growing slowly. You can send me an email, like I said, acrpodcast@gmail.com. If you have any topics, you can send them to acrpodcast@gmail.com. And if you want to just say hi, you can send your letters and emails, well, basically just your emails, to acrpodcast@gmail.com. And thank you for our sponsor, A-Roads 2012 on eBay. And until next time, I am Andrew Rhodes, saying thank you for joining me, and have a lovely weekend. And don't forget, have a very, very pleasant day.